What's up, everybody? You like that, don't you, Kane? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Love in Black and White, where each week, what do we do, Manulus?
Put the love back in your rights. And this week, it is extra special because we have one of our dearly...
Wait. I gotta bring you in. It's not official till
I'm fucking it up. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Sorry.
As always, I'm one of your hosts, Big Irish Jay Hollingsworth. And as always, we have the co-host, the Black Don Juan Manulus Rojas Martin Jr.
Hello, everybody. We apologize to all of our Hispanic viewers for that.
And our guest. Okay, you want to bring in our guest?
No, you. Oh, I think you do it with such style.
Oh my God.
Kane Holloway. our good buddy,
genius.
Kane, the Hammer Holloway.
That's right.
Packing a fucking hammer.
That's right, dog. That's right.
For those of you who don't know him, this man is a legend to Seattle comedy. I'll say he's a legend to comedy everywhere. You know what?
Hey, I'm all over the place.
Like everybody else who thinks different, you know? So that guy is, I don't know, man. I'm just so happy to see you. You're doing good. You look good.
Thank you.
Oh, and look at that lady in the background.
There's an intruder in your house.
Yeah, it's me.
Natasha's here. We got Natasha and Victoria. What's up, Natasha and Victoria? So we have so much with our guest Kane. We got so much to go over. Kane's obviously a good friend of both of ours. We've known Kane for over 10 years, and I went to Kane's wedding.
Wait, can we just say what you did?
What up, Tiffany?
Can we see what you did at the wedding?
Me or Kane?
You with the Irish.
Oh yeah. Well, we can get to that.
We'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
Stay tuned till the end, and we'll tell you what Jay did at Kane's special day.
Yeah. So we had talked on the our last episode. Our teaser was about weirdest request in the bed. And Kane kind of turned into the look at Cookie McJingles giving the shout out to Kane.
Oh, I remember Cookie. Hi, Cookie.
Jesus, it's a fucking creep. So
no, hold on. I remember Cookie.
Hello, Cookie.
Hello, Cookie.
Would you like to make jingo? Right. So the teaser was weirdest request you've had in bed, and this will kind of play into some. Kane has so many great stories that relate to this podcast. Yes. Wrinkles, get the fuck away.
Cutting his pubes.
So first let's just do our weirdest request. What up, Daphne Guyanese? What up? We'll start with Kane. What's the weirdest thing you've ever been asked to do or had done to you in the bed?
The weirdest thing
Get out?
It wasn't. Yeah.
Stop.
No.
Yeah. Don't end his career right now. Jesus Christ.
No, I was with a girl that was it wasn't a request. She just started running her nails up and down my stomach and around my dick and balls, but not actually on it, just down my thighs, and it was and I was slowly getting less and less hard as it was happening because I was trying, because it tickled so bad that I was trying not to laugh in her face, and she was, but I kept going like this. I kept going.
So she was like, "Ooh, he likes it."
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, he's digging this." So she kept doing it softer and slower, and I was just like, and then she hit a spot, and I was just, I grabbed her hands instinctively. I just grabbed her, and I was like, "You got to stop! You got to stop! I can't deal with this anymore." She's like, "I thought I was doing good. I thought I was doing good with you," and I was like, "Yeah, just don't do that. Just just either go down or don't do anything."
What about you, Manulus?
Weirdest thing. I mean, probably anal. I mean, that's the.
Did it hurt?
It did. I bled. I'm just,
oh my God.
Yeah, that was too far. That's probably the only thing. That was with my girlfriend in 3 years, and that was probably the most extreme thing. For everybody watching, you guys know me and Jay are pretty vanilla, but I can't.
Well, I mean, I'm vanilla.
Well,
I mean, you'd be more chocolate.
Ugh,
Oh,
I get
boy.
it. Yeah, that's what I
Yikes.
deal with every
Never
weekend.
stops, Kane. Have you missed this?
Boy, have I. I have a question for Manny because
Yeah.
I was trying to talk about this. I've also done anal, and
Right.
boy, are my arms tired. Anyway. So that doesn't make any sense. So I was trying to talk about this on stage, but like as you get it in,
Yeah.
it's like the idea of it's like pretty hot until you're in, and
Right.
then like and all of a sudden it changes, and there's like
Mhm.
a hey, slow down, and you're going as slow as did this happen to you where you're like going as slow as possible, but they're like, dude, fucking relax, like slow way down, and you're like, I'm not moving. I'm still
And then you're
basically
like,
kind of out.
surprise!
Yeah, man. It was wild because I just literally just stood there and she was like, I'll do the work. I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know what I mean? But after doing that, I never have any passion to do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
I
not
don't
like,
either.
yeah. So
Yeah. And shout out to Ann's here. Divine Equinox is here.
wait, what did Cookie say real quick? Cookie said, I had a guy ask me to, I can't believe I'm telling y'all this. He asked me to bend his dick backwards.
What the?
So like bend it in half.
Oh my God. Was it, so there's two ways that this could do. It could go like you bend it up to the stomach or bend it through his legs,
Ooh.
you know.
Or what? She wants you to just bend it in the middle.
God.
And we talked about
Fucking
this.
boomerang that shit.
You know, I'm sure he doesn't watch this, and I'm sure nobody on here knows him. But this guy named Nick Dector, we used to do comedy.
We could have just gave the first name.
I think I talked about him on here. He got a penis fracture from like sex, and it like broke in the middle, turned black, and they had to like withdraw blood from it. And the thing was, his mom is a nurse and was the one who had to like take him in and tell him he needed to get it checked out. Fucking insane.
Oh
my God.
Ugh.
Sweet Jesus.
Sippin's here. Jay Lee, what up?
Sippin'.
I'd say probably the weirdest request for me was it's one of two things. Well, one was a request, and then one it was just weird. But the one was the chick that wanted me to eat her ass, and I was like, nope, not gonna happen, never.
Yeah.
And then the other was the story I told about the girl that she was like kind of like a goth chick, real hot, and then I remember we went into her bedroom. We were gonna have sex, and as soon as I laid down on the bed above me was a black painted like goat's skull.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no, I think I'm going to check out here. My dick's pretty much done. What's up with my background tripping?
I don't even know. You put your arm up and then all of a sudden it just changed.
It's her.
Yeah.
It's for the goat skull.
I told you I could leave.
So for anybody listening on the podcast, Cookie said that this guy said, bend it through his legs. I'm like, how am I going to get on it?
You back into him. You just back into each other.
He was like, bend it like Beckham.
You're literally bumping asses.
Yeah.
Okay, so this requests in the bedroom or sexual request leads into our first topic or thing that we wanted to talk with Kane about. So we talked about previously on the podcast about have you ever had a partner, or how would you react to a partner asking for additional people to come into the bedroom? And Kane had this experience. So do you want to set up the whole how it all came about, Kane?
Well, it was like a long running thing in the relationship. Like after about I would say 4 or 5 months, 6 months maybe into this relationship I was in of 8 years, we were at dinner one day and we were talking about like maybe doing a threesome. And then I was like, yeah, I'd be down for that. And then she was like, what if we did an open thing? And I was like, oh no, I'm not down for that.
Yeah.
And okay, hold on before you keep going, because I want to get all the info. So you're at dinner, weird dinner topic, like at a restaurant.
Yeah, well, we just got done fucking, and so it's like during that first year where all you're doing, I think Christopher Titus says this in one of his specials where he's like, you're just fucking and eating,
right?
Yeah. And that's what we were doing. Like we just got done having sex. We were like, let's go get some food, and we were talking about the sex we had just had, and then it was like, well, how would we make it hotter? Let's bring another person in. All right, let's do that.
Okay, so I guess my question is, you were open to this, or you were on board with this?
I was
Like a
on board. I was
threesome.
on board for the threesome.
Okay,
Absolutely.
another chick.
Another chick. Yeah.
What if
or,
she was?
or a really pretty man?
Well, Manny, there's still hope for you. Not me. Okay, so you're talking about the possibility of a threesome, and then she brings up, and what about an open? How did she bring that up?
Well, like, as organically, we're talking about like, oh, what if we had like a side piece, or so, like, what if we started liking that person? And she's like, what are the rules of the threesome? Is it like just mouth stuff, or do we go full on, or we both fucking the girl? Like, what are the rules? And as we're like talking it out, she's like, oh, what if we had an open relationship? What would that look like? And what would the rules be of that? And I'm like, well, first I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, and then as it's being discussed, I'm like, I don't know. I guess like, let's keep our protection. And, I was thinking so hypothetical, like fucking condoms, and it would be like one night stands or whatever. And then she's like, yeah, let's do it. And I said, no, not going to do it. Not into it.
Let me ask you this. Was this person, I mean, I think that if I remember correctly, they may have only had like a couple of relationships before they were with you, or?
I think so. Yeah, there was one.
I mean, we can say the name because she put it on fucking Dr. Drew. So
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can.
Yeah.
Say Nick Decter broke his dick, but you say Kelsey Cook, who went on a fucking radio.
Yeah. Kelsey Cook, and we talked about that for a minute, and I said absolutely not, and she was very much like.
Look at Jay staring in the background.
Wait, what?
Never mind.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Kane's lady was walking around in like a.
Oh, so you were staring.
Oh,
in the background.
was
Oh shit! It's like
I didn't see her in the black dress showing legs.
It's like when somebody farts and then they try to blame it on you. Hey, what's that smell? I don't know. What is that smell, Manny?
What up, Sandy? Sandy's in here. All right, sorry. Keep going, Kane.
So yeah, then she was like, let's really do it, and I'm like, look, I'm like. I don't need that.
Right.
So let's break up instead, and you go get your fuck on. No judgment. Let's just go our separate ways, and we'll just go get our fuck on. And if we end up meeting each other by the end of this, cool. And she didn't want to do that, and she was like, all right, let's take it off the table.
Okay, really quick. Hold on. Sorry. I'm interrupting you just because I'm like questions I have, and I'm assuming probably questions people in the chat have also. What up, Wonder Man, Sandy, that are in here now? So when you were saying let's break up because you're like, I'm not cool with being in a relationship and you fucking somebody else like on a consistent or even on okay, all right. So you said let's break up. You go. Sow your oats, whatever you need to do, and then we'll see if we can come back together. And she was like, no, I don't want to break up.
Yeah, I don't want to break up. What if I lose you to somebody else? And I was like, all right, well, look, the only way to have me is you got to have just me. If you don't want just me, then we can't be together. And then it was off the table. And then we started then we got engaged, and I think that kickstarted this idea of we're got together real quick, we moved in real fast, we're talking about threesomes, now we're getting engaged and we're about to get married, and we're not even a year into this relationship,
right?
And we start having problems because we're moving way too fast, and then that's when it gets brought up again. Why don't we do an open relationship?
Kane, can you read Sandy's comment?
Is this the same guy that made Phil late to Jay's group photo shoot? What is that?
The album? No. Remember the album? That you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's fucking me because I wouldn't help Phil. What a piece of shit that motherfucker is.
By the way, Felicia's here. What up, Felicia? What up, Queen Ganymede?
Yeah, I don't know. I love the name though. Tell us how to say that properly. Just spell it out phonetically.
She is. She came out to the show in when I was in San Antonio. What up?
Nice.
Okay. So sorry. Yeah, that is the Kane that didn't wake Phil up multiple times.
What an asshole! I got up. Here's the other part I forgot about. he was awake when I was awake. And I said, hey, I'm walking out the door. Hey, Phil. And Phil goes, I know. And then he was lit. I still tried to get him up, and dude, I'm no responsibility on this, even though I still tried to wake his bitch ass up. I wish he was here right fucking now. You have no idea.
All right. So Felicia said, what are we discussing today? So Kane's telling us the story. He was dating, at this time, you'd been dating Kelsey. You said you're about a year now in, and you're moving in, and you're talking about marriage.
Mm-hmm.
She had brought up that maybe having an open relationship. You're like, no, we're monogamous or we're not together. And she was like,
started
okay.
with the three-way though. Like they were talking about how to make sex hotter. They were cool with the three-way, and then it started kind of branching out into like, hey, could we date other people on the side, kind of shit. So
that's funny.
Okay, so go ahead, Phil. I mean, Kane. Sorry, Jesus Christ. Sorry.
That really hurt.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So we were fighting a lot, and then the topic got brought up. Why don't we do an open relationship? And right at that moment, this girl that I was working with started to take an interest in me, and so we're fighting all the time. This girl's kind of into me. Yeah, why not? You know,
right.
Let's do it. So I'm like kind of seeing this girl on the side, and we kind of come up with the rules of like, let's not tell each other anything, but it's just like, that's not how it can work at all, because this girl would just shamelessly come to my apartment and ask to hang out with me. And while Kelsey's and so Kelsey would like have to go and hide because this is my
Dude, I did not know about any of this.
I didn't tell you about this girl.
No.
Yeah. So this girl was like, and she didn't know about the open relationship. She knew about Kelsey and still wanted to fuck.
Wow.
She knew all about her, all this stuff. I didn't say one word. I had these baseball tickets. Actually, I had 4 baseball tickets. And I couldn't get anybody to go. I called you, and you were doing gigs. I think you were also like doing something at the parlor, Manny. I called Corey. I called Aunt Rivers. I called all of these Seattle comics and no one could go.
Right.
And so I'm like at work, and I go, "Hey, does anybody want to go to a Mariners game?" And then this girl goes, "Yeah, I'd love to go." And so we go, and I'm like, "Great, cool." So we go to this Mariners game. She's drinking. I'm drinking. She's trying to hold my hand. Like while we're walking around Safeco, and I'm uncomfortable with it, but trying to like ease into it because she's not my girlfriend. But
right.
these are the rules of the open relationship, whatever. And so, we like kiss or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm trying to keep it easy. I'm not trying to like go full on with this thing. But then she invites me out to a concert, and I said, yeah, I'll go. And she comes over when Kelsey was home, and right at that moment, like, this girl comes over. She's like all dolled up for a concert, ready to go. Kelsey doesn't have a show. She's also like not like ready to go out. She's just chilling at home in her home look. And so when I'm like taking off on the way to this concert with this girl, I get a text from Kelsey that's like, I don't like this. Let's stop doing this.
Holy shit.
Like, as I'm like going off onto this date.
You're like, she's blowing me, right?
So
can we stop this in like 10 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. So I told her, I was like, all right, I can't, we can't do this. She's not into it, and I'm loyal to her. So I'm really sorry, but I gotta like drop you off or turn around or whatever. And she was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And I dropped her off, and she went to the concert by herself, and periodically I thought she'd be super pissed at me, but like periodically would still flirt with me and like hang out with me at lunch. She was like my lunch buddy and shit. And
like the work wife type
scenario. Yeah, sort of like someone that I got to flirt with and talk to, and like yeah, and as like we took it off the table again, and then and right before this too, she had like we had said the rules, like, here are the rules. We don't say anything. We don't tell each other shit. And then like she calls me up one night and she's like, this bartender's really into me and I think I'm gonna go home with him. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? No, you can't. The rules we agreed upon is don't tell each other shit. Right. But what we found out is that's fucking impossible. It's like you can't do it because you're like, you're so new to this that you're like, you're the person I would tell this shit to, but also I'm not supposed to be telling you this shit. Right. And you, if you get with someone who's like really into you, of course they're gonna think they have something more special with you than you have with the person you started this open relationship with. They're gonna try and blow it up, and so you could be theirs. I mean, I don't know how people make it work. Yeah, I don't think it actually does really work in a polyamorous relationship. My roommate that I had after Kelsey and I split, she was polyamorous and had a couple different boyfriends, but it just seemed like chaos. It just seemed like you have to have complete open communication. And even then some shit will blow up and it seems like no one's having fun. It feels like you're lying, even though it's an open relationship, but you feel like you gotta lie anyway.
I got a quick question for you. Now, it's interesting knowing you two both personally, but then also knowing your material, right? So I know that Kelsey used to have this joke about being allergic to latex, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like, I think that would be in the back of my mind is like, holy shit, can you even use condoms? You know what I mean? Or like, is it harder to,
you just did anal with those other dudes?
Easy, take it easy.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like, so how did you even navigate that scenario? Because I mean, you know, even if you do have the open relationship, you're praying that nobody brings home anything, right? So
yeah, and that was another discussion when it got brought up again. It was like, there's lambskin condoms that are I mean, condoms in general are just awful and weird, but yeah, so there's options for people with latex allergies. But yeah, that was the discussion when it came up a third time.
Right.
And it was like, okay, here are the rules. Just blowjobs and mouth stuff and hand stuff. And I was like,
dude, this is wild to me though, because like you guys were in love with each other.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine telling a girl that I love, be like, okay, so yeah, you can suck his dick. I mean, maybe play with his balls.
Yeah, maybe he can eat you out.
He can come 2 ounces into your mouth, and then the rest you got to spit. I'm like, ugh, fucking
dude,
what?
that is wild.
I don't know how you. Oh, dude, I could not do it. Yeah. PC Manny, Natasha has a.
Yeah, we just want to say here on the Love in Black and White podcast that it is always important to practice safe sex. Whether you can use latex or lambskin condoms, please make sure that you are exercising precaution because now with STIs out there, you can have incurable gonorrhea, HIV, herpes to name one, and you don't want to pass that to another partner. So please practice safe sex. Back to you, Jay.
Thank you, PC Manny. Yeah,
that was
PC
amazing,
Manny. Dude. Oh,
that was amazing.
We don't know how Manny does it, but his fucking PC Manny just comes in to fucking PC shit up for us, dude. And it's always on point.
Just making sure we all don't get canceled.
That was so impressive.
That's how we don't get canceled.
Because I tried when we did the Hollings Worthless, I tried to be sort of PC Kane, but like I couldn't do it because doing the jokes was too much fun. So,
you're like, hey, you cunts. PC Kane here. By the way, San Francisco 49er girls in here. Shout out to her. Okay, so now did either of you actually hook up with someone else at any point?
I don't know if she did. It's possible that she did. I did. And
was it again, that chick you worked with?
No, it was a different girl. It was a different girl that I met up with. And it was strange because I did it to do it because it was, you know, like, okay, she's feeling me. I'm out. I just, you know, I'm in this open relationship. I can do this. But like, as I'm talking to her, I'm like, I'm not as into this as I think I am. And I'm trying to like make this be a part of something. And I could tell, and I even said, you know, I'm in an open thing. I got someone else at home. This can't be anything but sex. And she's like, yeah, cool. But then after we're done, I can feel that she just likes me more than I like her.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not a fucking good feeling. That's a fuckboy feeling. It's like
Yeah.
this feeling of like, oh shit, I got all the power. I got all the power, and I can wield it for evil and just keep stringing this girl along and keep fucking her and keep whatever. Or I could just end this shit because it's too much responsibility.
Right.
It's way too much responsibility to have that. You got to be a sociopath to be a fuckboy, because it's just like, these are people. These are people with emotions, dude. They are gonna fall for you, and then you're just cool with for just tossing them to the side.
Yeah, it's dude. So I don't think you haven't met Liz, have you, Kane? Liz Stone. She's a comic. She's here, but she was on the show. She was married for like 10 years and got divorced, and she's like in her early 40s, and now she's going buck wild. Just like she fucked the Silver Knights, which is like the Golden Knights Pro-Am team here in Vegas. Like she always jokes like but like she always tells me and like Tricks and other people, oh, you gotta, you should just fucking go buck wild. And I'm like, I can't, because like, if I'm dating more than one person, it's like at some point you're gonna have to make a decision, unless you're a piece of shit. And like you said, it's just it doesn't feel right. I mean, unless you're just like, I'm just gonna just fuck the world, and have at it.
We have a buddy who literally, he said it gets easier as you break hearts, but he's like, at first he felt awful. So, I mean, but he's a total fuckboy now. So,
I mean, if you're there's a guy that the new girl I'm seeing that Raina knows, where his whole thing is like he gets into it. It's like it's almost like he's unaware of his fuckboy tendencies. Like he'll get with a girl. He's a handsome dude. He's tall. He's fucking buff, and so like these girls like automatically fall for him. And then they fuck, and he's like, I don't know, And then he'll ask Raina how do I like break it off? It's like, she didn't do anything. It's the same speech every time. She didn't do anything wrong. It's not her.
She's like, just move to New York. Yeah, dude. Okay, so with all this shit that was going on, it was about a year in that you guys were discussing, or was it 3 months in that you were discussing having an open relationship?
Oh no, it was about 6 months.
Okay.
In, and it just sort of, the talk sort of kept going.
Okay, so a year after you guys started dating, you moved in together. You moved down to LA together, and as all this is going on, how long did you guys date total, or were together total?
8 years.
Okay, 8 years. Holy shit. And
wait, can I ask a quick question, Jay?
Yeah.
So I noticed the dynamic kind of change, like, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody's comedy, but to me, you're a beast at comedy, right? And I noticed when you were up here, like, you were that guy, right? So it's like everybody's like, oh shit, Kane's on, we got to go watch what Kane does, right? And then I noticed as you went down to LA, fuck you, Jay. so then when you go down to LA, I started noticing that she started getting more like TV spots and all this stuff. Like, did you notice a dynamic change with that at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was
all the LA comics were trying to fuck her.
Oh yeah, a lot of LA comics who I'm sure heard about the open relationship were trying to go after her. And on top of that, it's like her career was flourishing and mine really wasn't. And so at certain points in our relationship, we weren't on the same page. And so it was tough to be, feel like a partnership at that time. Because she's got all these new doors opening up for her. She's trying to figure out what's going on in her career, on top of which, there's an episode of Seinfeld where Elaine's telling a long story about a relationship she's having with somebody in her building. It's not romantic. It's just like a guy she knows, and it's like deteriorating because they're not feeding it. And Jerry says, a relationship is an organism. You starved it and then it turned against you. And that's what happened, is we both focused so hard on each other, on our career, our separate careers, that, and the bigger she got, the more she was away.
Right.
And so then our relationship started to turn on each other. And so like, and then we worked through that. And then I think like, just the older we got, we stopped. We were just like, we changed into different people. We were just having different lives.
Right. And then let me ask you this, like, so when she would be on the road, would it ever play on your mind like she's with Bob Saget or she's with Jim Norton, or like things running through your mind on those scenarios, or not really?
Nah, I figured those guys would treat her professionally and treat her like she's a comic, because that's what all male comics should just have the foresight, the same way it is for fuckboys. It's like, these are people, they have careers, they have dreams, they have aspirations. Treat them like comics first. If there's a romantic thing, great. If it's mutual, awesome. But if you're
any comic watching,
otherwise
watching this
called,
what's it called?
What's it called? PC?
Not consensual.
Yeah, seriously. Especially like, that's the thing me and Jay always talk about on this show, is that you always have to be cognizant of, you don't want to have your career canceled by doing some dumb shit, because we know a very heavyset gentleman who,
I'm right here, Manny.
I'm sorry.
Is it because you can only see his head because he's blending into the background?
Well, I heard.
See this tiny Irish head floating around the screen?
Sorry, I don't have a half-naked chick walking around in the back.
Yeah, you should be sorry, stupid.
You're stupid.
Got me. Fucking got me.
But we know of somebody who actually groped somebody, and then there was apologies afterwards. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's fucking crazy to me that what people think that they can get away with just because they're on headliner level.
Dude, most of my female comic friends all have a story about some dude taking them.
Oh,
God, you know what I forgot about podcasting with Jay? Talk faster always. Just always talk as fast as you possibly can. Get to the end of the sentence as fast as possible. Break the multiverse.
Yeah, okay, try that sentence again now without pause. Go ahead.
Okay. A lot of my female friends have a lot of stories about headliners who try to take advantage of them. Nailed it.
Cookie has a question for you, Kane. You want to read it, Kane?
Oh yeah, wait, Kane, you were with Kelsey when you were doing the Hollings Worthless podcast with Jay. Yeah, I was. Jay and I. That was one of the things, is Kelsey was gone a lot, opening for Norton, and Jay and I were trying to start a failed podcast network.
And we did.
We sure did,
and we saw through to that failure. Okay, so now how far into, you dated 8 years, or together 8 years, how far into that did you get married? Was it after 6 years? 5?
Yeah, no, because we were only married for 6 months, so it was about 8 years. Then we got married.
And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, you were engaged once, that broke off, and then you got engaged and then married, right? Or
okay. Yeah, we got engaged twice before, 3 times. And then we had to have, because we were fighting all the time, and I was just like, both times I'm like, we are moving too fast. We need to cut this off. And we'd already done like the we're Facebook officially engaged and all this shit.
Right.
She's like, what are people gonna think? And I'm like, I don't give a shit, because we are living in a nightmare. We can't get along. What's the point of getting married if we are going to fight all the way to the altar? I mean, what is the point of it? Plus, I didn't even really want to get married at all in general. And so like I was fighting against that. And I think when we got to the altar this time, there was still a lot of unsaid stuff about that. Like, I don't think we want to do this right now, but we've already done that, like that. We've had the one where I had enough money to buy a real ring, and we had money to have a wedding, and we've been together 8 years. And no matter how many times I've said, I don't need to get married. I don't need to have kids to feel like, my idea of a relationship is I don't feel like we need to always set goals. If that makes sense, where it's like we can just be in love and have fun together and live
be present
life
in the moment.
Yeah, we don't need to set okay, well now we're living together, or now we have a cat, now we have a cat, now we have a third cat, you know.
Exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. I think that too many couples do that. They set those goals and they're not realistic. You know, you got to do it at your own pace and do whatever is right for you. So
Daphne asks, so Kane, what happened that made you decide to get married?
It was still like that. We were just having that unsaid conversation of like, okay, we set the goal. I had gone to a lot of changes. I had quit drinking and like got into therapy, and like I started to change as a person, and started to started to see a little clearer. Started to see a little like clearer of like how I was purposefully making my life hard. Like I was making my life so Kane doesn't want to be surrounded by pussy. That's funny, Natasha. Yeah, just like I didn't at that point I was like, all right, this feels like we're on the right path. Like we're talking and we're being a lot more open and honest, but we weren't having that very honest conversation where it's like, I think we have gotten to a place where we're so different now. The relationship we shouldn't be getting married right now. We should either talk about what's not working completely, or we should break up. And instead we got married, and then we had that conversation, and then we broke up.
Gotcha.
And so we broke up, and like we worked through all of our issues to reach a point where we were both like, oh yeah, you know, like this is, you know, 8 years. It's a successful relationship. We went through a lot. We changed together. We met in our 20s. We ended in our 30s. And, you know, I wish her all the best and stuff. You know, I don't, this is not a toxic breakup at all.
Who got custody of the cats?
She got 2 and I got 1.
Is your cat with you?
Not currently, not right now. He's still chilling at my sister's right now.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
So, okay. Another reason Kane is perfect for this podcast is, so you had all this topic that we've been discussing, and then also you literally just yesterday you moved to New York for love.
Yeah.
Nice.
I found love.
No.
He called me up to have me on the show, and then was like, "You moved for love, right?" I did. Oh, you're a fucking moron.
Well, yeah, I called Kane yesterday about doing this, and I was like, "Hey, we want to have you on the Love in Black and White," and he's like, "I'm on my way to the airport right now, going to New York." He's like, "I'd love to do it, but you know," I was like, "Okay, can you do it tomorrow?" That's why we delayed it a day, and so yeah, do you want to talk about how you and your current girlfriend met and everything? Andrea just joined us. What's up, Andrea? How you guys met, how this all came about, how long you guys been dating, all that shit.
We met on my show, Don't Take Bullshit from Fuckers, and I do that with Greg Barrett, who wrote He's Just Not That Into You. If you guys have heard that book, it was a #1 bestseller in the early 2000s, and they made a movie out of it and everything. And so she does a podcast called Girls Gotta Eat. And so Greg went on their show to talk about the book and the pod, and he used to write for Sex and the City. And so he was talking about that on their show. And then after that episode aired, our numbers exploded. And all of a sudden we were like seeing this big influx of emails to our show. Hey, I'm a Girls Gotta Eat fan. Every email started with, I'm a Girls Gotta Eat fan. And so I'm like, what's this show about? So I started listening to it, and I'm like, ooh, who's this Raina girl? I was like, I like the way she talks, or I like her voice.
And you're like, who's
laugh.
a friend, right?
Open relationship. And then I looked her up, and I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I like her. She's sexy. And then, so I followed her, you know, as part of research for the show when she comes on my show as a guest. Yeah. That's what I do. You know, I followed the Instagram as well. I followed the podcast Instagram, you know. And then she came on to an episode to talk about how I'm going to navigate the dating world. Because I was starting to get a bunch of DMs after the numbers blew up. We got so many female listeners. I'm newly single. They're like, hey man, I want to see your dick. And I'd never sent a dick.
But wait, enough about the guys. What the female listeners Shout out to Billy O'Connor, who's in here.
Billy.
Billy says,
Billy.
quote, how you met, how you fell in love, and all that shit. Quote, Irish Street man. Okay, so all these female listeners from Girls Gotta Eat were like, what that dick do?
What that dick do?
Precious Hall.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not sending my dick out to strangers. I'm not insane. And I've never sent a dick pic before ever. So I was like, oh, this will be a perfect topic to ask because they cover it on their show. So I was like, hey, how should I send my dick? And
you fucking Hannibal, you gonna cut it off? How do I send my dick? I wanted to be authentic, so I sent you the real thing.
I'm just sitting there in gray sweatpants bleeding.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus
so I asked her about how do I send my dick to girls that doesn't, that's not weird and gets, that like is like a hot dick pic because I don't know what I'm doing. And she was like, oh yeah, I can show you. She gave like a few tips. And then after we got got done recording, she's like, whenever you get them figured out, just send them to me. I'll help you out. I'll weed out.
Flirting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
And I was so nervous that I was like, oh, okay.
You were like, sorry, I don't have a big enough data plan. Sorry, my camera doesn't have a wide angle lens.
A wide angle lens.
Sorry, I can't do Panasonic. I was going to say Panasonic.
Panasonic.
Panoramic. God damn it! I was.
Sorry, I can't do Samsung.
For 3.
You fucking idiot.
Oh fuck. So,
yeah. And so then we started talking on. She started pursuing me because I was trying to convince myself she wasn't into me. I was just like, she's not. There's no way.
You know what's funny though is Manny and I have talked about. Me and you have talked about this before. Where I've always said, as far as if I were to ever date a comic, and she does stand up too, right? Or no?
Not really. They do live shows where they do like a version of their podcast.
Gotcha.
But a live show is dope.
But like even in that scenario, like I've always said, I would never. For a girl that works in comedy or in the industry or whatever, for us to date, she has to pretty much do all the work because I don't want to fucking anything misconstrued.
Sure.
And like going back to that thing about respecting her as a performer and everything. So I totally get that. And by the way, Tiffany said, why are you missing comments? Tiffany, you're in YouTube, so you're seeing all the YouTube comments. There's some people that are on Facebook, like Stefan. And so he said, have you done a silent date with your new girl yet? So yes. I can see all the comments, but you may not. You did do a silent date?
Yeah, it's a nightmare. Don't do it. It's a nightmare.
Wait, so explain this to me. What is it? What's a silent date?
The silent date, it's not like a hill I'm willing to die on, but like people like want to. I came up with this idea. I came up with a couple of like date ideas during the pandemic, and I pitched them during the show. One of them was like turn your house into a movie theater and like recreate the movie theater at your house. And one of them is the silent date, where you like plan the date out the day before, and then you do all those activities, but you're just quiet the whole time, and you communicate through body language. And my idea of it was like you have a better understanding of a person.
That's deaf.
God, you know what's funny too? I'm talking at a normal pace.
I know.
And you found a small window, a tiny window to just hop in there and derail the whole thing. I wish I was on a
to make
silent
up for lost
podcast.
time. I haven't been able to fuck with it for a while.
Silent podcast.
Yeah.
So then we did like a version of it where we were like quiet as we were walking to the movie theater. And this like animosity that was based out of nothing just grew between us, where it's like, why? So who's going to break? And then we're both like, well, it's not going to be me. And then all of a sudden you're like, why aren't we talking? And it was just like, as we're doing it, I'm like, this was a bad idea. This is not a good idea. No one do the silent date.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, like the joke is like, great, I don't gotta hear her fucking running her mouth, but yeah, it does sound fucking horrible. You're like, trying to fucking gross. Just fucking, what do you want?
Yeah, it's a dumb idea. Don't do it. It's stupid.
Okay, so she was pursuing you, and you were trying to convince yourself that she wasn't. That so you thought she was just being nice and joking around.
That's what I said, and I called up like a couple of girlfriends of mine that were trying to. They were like helping me through the dating stuff because they were dating at the time, or they've been on a bunch of dates, and so they were like, I was like, look, I screenshot her messages and sent them to her, or sent it to them, and they were like, dude, this girl likes you. Stop being a fucking idiot and send her your fucking phone number. And so I was like,
I thought you were gonna say
dick pic.
Yeah.
Send your
that
dick.
fucking dick pic.
How many times?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I sent my phone number, and then we're texting. And again, I'm like, I don't know if I'm striking out or if I have no idea. But it ended up working out to where I made a bold decision. She was going to be in Miami performing at the Improv with her co-host. And I was like, my mom lives down in Florida. I've never been to Florida. Hey, I'll go out there. I'll see you. That'll be the first time. And I called Greg and I was like, should I buy the plane ticket? And he goes, hey man, we just got through the first leg of this pandemic. What is life? Just pull the trigger, buy the ticket. And I was like, all right. And I bought the ticket. And then she told me later, like, you're fucking coming to Miami? What are you, insane? So she had to come to LA first to see if like Miami would even be a good idea, if we even like have a good, like the first time we jumped on the phone, we talked for like 5 hours. And then she came to LA, and she had the same kind of thought I did about Miami. It's like, if we don't hit it off, I got people down here.
Right.
So, I can just hang with those people. But then we went on a fuck festival for a week straight. I think she saw one of her friends one time just to rehydrate. And I actually like FaceTimed. It was like my sister took her whole family to see my mom, and they FaceTimed me, and like, I was like ghost sheet white. And I was starving, and I was like trying to get off the phone, and they're like, are you sick? Do you have COVID? Are you sick? And my sister goes, no, Raina came this weekend. And they all go, oh, get some Gatorade. She did.
Nice.
Not the first time or the second time, but the third time.
Eventually.
She got there. The dam broke.
Yeah. Who made her come? So Tiffany was saying, Tiffany had a question. What's the difference between condoms and none? Make an analogy a woman would understand. I think Patrice had a great joke about it where he said, imagine you're with a guy and he's about to go down on you. And then he's like, okay, hold on. Let me just grab this garbage bag and lay it over your vagina. And then the woman's like, what? And he's like, oh, fuck that. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'll catch whatever.
Yeah.
Billy O'Connor, you want to read that, Kane?
I'm laying 100 to 1. This relationship ain't got a shot. What the fuck, Billy? Why?
You taking the action, Kane?
I don't need fucking dating advice from a longshoreman who lives in Malibu or wherever the fuck he lives. Still wearing his old fucking New York hat, and he just goes to festivals with us. You old piece of shit. Shut up, Billy.
You leave Billy alone. He's a fucking national treasure, and he lives in north of LA. And
yeah.
It's fucking so Billy good. O'Connor, the best.
Billy O'Connor.
So you finally realize she's flirting. You go out there to see her. Sandy, we're gonna get to that. We're actually working up to that right now. Why isn't Sean in the chat? I don't know. Fucking call him. What a weird. I have no idea, Victoria. So he might have better things to do. So you go out to Miami. You guys. So you hooked up when you went out to Miami.
Yeah, she came out to LA first. We hooked up.
A little fast, but okay, go on.
Yeah, first date, baby, and then
raw.
Then I went out. I laid a garbage bag over her whole body.
Kane's like, "What's a condom?"
Cut a little hole. Yeah, no, and then I went out. Then I went out to New York to visit her, and then it was Miami. So then we hooked up in Miami, and it started to grow from there. And it wasn't until my second trip out to New York that I was like, which was, I think, months into it. I said I love you, and then I was like, hey, I said I love you first, and then later on I was like, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? Like a fucking idiot.
I love it.
No, I like it, dude. I
It's
want to
so
go
good.
back to the fucking grade school where you have a piece
Yeah.
of paper and just
Check
check
off.
yes or no. You want to go with me? Where the fuck are we going? Okay, so Daphne asked, would you go into a serious relationship with someone if you had sex on the first date? I think the answer is yes. He's fucking moved cross country.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's like if you have that chemistry. I've had sex with girls on the first date during my dating days, and I didn't want to go with them. I didn't want to like start a relationship with them. But we had sex on our first date, and I was like, yes, Yahtzee.
By the way, I forgot to ask you, did Kelsey ever give back the ring?
Yeah, she did.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Fucking that's
Mm-hmm.
The way
good
it
for
should
her.
be.
Good for her. Okay. So how long ago was that when you first not when she actually when she came on your show?
So when
Show us what King calls his dick.
yeah, she came on my show, and then I said, I love you.
Yeah. You're like, welcome to the big show, girl. Sorry.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I think it's about 6 months since from the when she came on the show to now. Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, and did you say 3 months after you started talking that you told her you loved her?
About probably three or four, about that. Yeah,
dude. It's like I was gonna say I'd never say this in public, but everybody's in here because I gotta shit on you as much as possible. But I actually respect that. Dude, it takes a lot of fucking balls. I mean, now you've lived. You went from Seattle to LA, back up to Seattle, and now New York. And you're doing it. I mean, it's a pretty big leap of faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes balls. It's fucking wild. All for some pussy. I had to fucking ruin it at the end.
Of course.
I'm sorry.
I respect you. I think I think you're really doing something, the mature thing, and you're doing it for that snatch, dog. You get your nose in there.
Shit must be good.
Anal. Take it easy. Back it in there. Bend your dick back. We bump our butts together.
Dude, I'm trying to think like, Manny, this is a question for us. Like, I'm trying to think, because I have so many trust issues from how I grew up, and with my mom and shit. So
yeah,
that's a fucking dude. That'd be like a huge thing for me to move cross country for someone,
dude. I mean, that's my whole MO is that like I moved up to Seattle when I was 15 to be with my dad, to live with him, and he was like, I'll be here through all your schooling. And then the day I graduated, he moved out and left me with his ex-girlfriend. So I've got like commitment issues, you know what I mean?
Sure,
so I'm just like, fuck, to go to New York. I mean, I've always admired all you guys because you guys weren't afraid to make the jump. I feel like I always need that stability of like having health care and all this other shit, or else I would have gone to LA, you know what I mean? And just followed you guys. So that is no joke. The fucking healthcare thing. Yeah. Like I got to get my fucking tutor checked and I don't have any insurance. I'm like, I've been talking
easy doc, easy.
Using the whole fist doc. What's that? Fletch Moon River.
Yo, we've got a buddy who's like really heavy set, right? And
he's right here. He's a floating head.
Say my name, Jesus.
Not Jay. But so like I don't know if you knew this, Kane. I got a colonoscopy, and it was just a hemorrhoid, right? But I felt a lot better. But just knowing that I was healthy, especially after Chadwick Boseman, right? It's like, damn, this stuff goes through your head. But a buddy of ours who's really heavy set was like, shit. I mean, he was like, you wouldn't got one, and I was like, motherfucker, you told me like a few years ago that you tried to get one, but they said there was too much meat back there for them to see. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? So
is this person's initial CR?
Yes.
I'm Kane. You know it is. Lene, I hope I said that right. By the way, welcome. Asked, is it Rena or Raina?
Raina.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was Raina different than the other one night girls? Was it the conversation, shared goals, shared values? Be specific.
Yeah, well, we had all that buildup of conversation on the phone, text, and all this stuff. Like, we found out very early on sort of what our shared goals is. I don't like using that as an idea for a relationship, but basically what our idea of what a relationship would look like together, and then we connected on a lot of things, and things that we didn't connect on, we were able to like make fun of each other about and accept about one another. It wasn't this like, oh, you don't like that, then obviously you're not my person. We were just like, we just kind of, the conversation never stopped. And it just kind of kept going like that until we met. And then now we're in person and you got all those nerves. And the first time we had sex, I don't know if she's talked about this or not, but it was not good. I don't know what I was doing. I jumped on her and I just started jackhammering. It was an awful experience. And
oh my God,
it was so nervous because like the other girls, I think I was a lot smoother, but also in my head, I knew in the back of my mind, this isn't going anywhere. Like this isn't going to go anywhere. So I felt a lot smoother. And with this one, I'm like, oh, I hope she sticks around. And so I think I made all the wrong sex moves immediately. And she's just like, at one point she goes, you want to stop? And I'm like, yeah, we should stop. We should slow down.
Jesus Christ.
We had to stop.
Really quick. Do you know who this is?
I
Manny?
have no idea. This Mateos or whatever.
Just block this user. Bye-bye, bitch. All right. I don't know who the fuck that guy, but
yeah,
nobody talks shit about the Coco co-host.
I know. That was the guy who was defending Chris Brown hitting Rihanna back in the day, I think. Cool. Yeah.
What?
He'll never be back.
Yeah. It was interesting.
Jay's just big bone. Yeah. Especially that middle one. So Kane, what you were saying though, I remember back in the day, I hooked up with this one girl, and it just like you were saying, like we got done, and in my head, I was like, I mean, that wasn't my best. I'm really sorry. And then I remember, like the next day, I was like in my head, and I think I might even verbalize. I was like, can we do it again? Like, I really want to prove myself.
Yeah.
She literally was like, dude, I gotta go. And I was like, fuck, man. That's a fucking bad one. It was a bad one.
I had an off day. It's like the manager came out and took the ball out of your hand. Go, you gotta get out, man.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, because we're at 57. Kane, would you be able to come back next week?
Yeah.
We'll probably do it on Sunday or Monday. The same time.
Yeah, you let us know what works for you.
It's probably Monday is probably the best. Cool.
Okay, perfect. You down, Manny?
Yeah.
Okay, and because I wanted to give you a minute, Manny, to go over what we talked about before the thing.
Yes. First off, I just want to say thank you to everybody who donated to the little baby registry that my wife came up with. Means the world to me. We sent you guys like private little messages, either in your email or in your Instagram. I just want to say it means the world to me. Like, you guys don't have to send me anything.
Don't get emotional.
I know. I'm trying not to.
I know. Manny was telling me, he was like, dude, I'm like fucking tearing up. I was like, dude, they're the
best, and it's like
the BBWs,
yes.
The beautiful black and whites.
That's right.
Ooh,
the BBWs.
very good.
There you go.
BBWs.
The
Very good.
I don't know if all the ladies in here want to be known as BBWs. The beautiful black and white.
Oh man, but no, I truly am. I'm just so grateful, and you know what I mean. We have the best fans, and they feel more like family than fans, and so just grateful to you guys. So thank you again, and yeah, just be on the lookout in your inbox for either on Instagram or on via email. So.
Yes,
yeah.
Daphne was like, "Thank you, Jay. We will mess you up about Manny talking about that dude, whoever the fuck."
Oh yeah, that motherfucker was yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he was blabbering about.
Yeah, probably I'm sure it's a fake account. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's not.
Someone's going after you.
Yeah, in the comments.
In the comments, the dude was like, "Why you talk so soft and talk black or some shit?" He was saying,
What?
I don't know. Like, yeah.
Who gives
Jesus.
a shit?
I think he was talking to you, Kane.
I think it was Billy O'Connor.
Yeah. All right, so we're actually at an hour right now. We'll do it because we usually keep this at about an hour, and let them keep them wanting more. Kind of like Raina the first time you guys fucked.
Yeah. Well, she didn't want any more. I had to really put in some work.
Really force it. I get it. Okay, so on that note,
yikes. New notes, different notes.
Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, do real quick. So we'll have you back next week unless something comes up. But in the meantime, anything you want to plug, Kane? Your podcast, shows, all that shit.
Yeah, you can go to kaneholloway.com. You can check out all the stuff I have there. I got 2 podcasts. One I'm sort of on a hiatus, but it's a nerd podcast called Well Actually, podcast for nerds who think they know everything about anything nerdy. And then the one I do with Greg called Don't Take Bullshit from Fuckers. It's an advice show. People email in and we give them dating or relationship advice. A fucker could be anything you're dealing with at work or family, relationships. Maybe you're the fucker. Maybe you got addiction. Both of Greg and I are sober, so we talk about pretty much anything. And then I got an album out called Can't See Straight. I named it after my dad, and it's not a good thing. So, but you got to listen to the album to find out why.
It's not a good thing.
Nice, very good, Jay. It's not a loving. What do you call it? Anyway, so you can find out.
Great
Jesus Christ, great plug, Kane. I was on a roll too. I was on a fucking roll. Whatever. Anyway, yeah.
God.
Follow me out at Kane Holloway on Instagram.
And Manulus, Wonderman asks, I don't know if we gave you a hello, Wonderman. What's up?
No, yeah, we saw him a little earlier, but what's got? I don't know if I have Cash App. I'll look at.
Yeah, Venmo.
I think I have something.
I think you probably have all of them, but you're
I just don't want anybody to give me
and
anything. I feel so I'll post it. I promise. Next week I'll have it on here. And so
it's gonna take you a week to post.
What's
it?
your Cash App? What's your
just
Cash
fucking
App?
look it up now. You
I don't
piece
even-
of shit.
Just
Look it up.
You got a baby.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll do it tomorrow on the Hollingsworth list. Or on the Hollingsworth list because I don't. My phone's fucking all over the place right now.
Good one. All right. Anything else? Anything else you want to not plug?
Just make sure you tune in tomorrow. And hopefully, I know I'll be out every now and again, and hopefully Kane will step in and fill in for me on the Hollingsworth list.
Kane.
Oh yeah, I'll come in and fucking take over and smack Phil in the face verbally.
Phil has been like taking a
hiatus.
sabbatical. Yeah, hiatus.
Again.
But dude, I would. It'd be great to have both of you guys on there and then go over whose fault it was. I mean, we know whose fault it was.
Of course, we know whose fucking fault it was. It drove me nuts. We were like, at one point, we're sitting there with Tahir at the barbecue joint, and Tahir's like, "Let me hear your side, Phil." And I'm like, "You got to be shitting me. You want to hear his side?"
Oh, fuck. That was how great was that fucking? That was great.
That was a great day. That whole day was great because Phil was late to everything.
Yeah. Okay, my plugs. Friday I'll be at Brad Garrett's. Just Friday, and then next week, all week I'm at Brad Garrett's, and the week after that, all week I'm at the Comedy Cellar at the Rio here in Las Vegas. Manny, you got anything else you want to plug?
No, just still in the holding pattern of trying not to get COVID and to keep this baby alive, man. So yeah. Let me know.
So we'll have Kane back next week, and until next week, Manulus.
We'll be putting the love back in your right. It's love in black and white.